Well, guys, we are trying something new today. This is just the dark sheet that keeps the film safe. We're out for our desert stroll, which we do just about every day, at least once usually. Today we brought along a new Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. We're going to be trying this out and kind of putting it through its paces, and we're looking forward to giving it a try. It's a little bit different experience, and we'll show you what we managed to capture today. Huge shout out to longtime viewers Vali and Paul from New York State. They sent out a gift card this Christmas to us, which was very sweet, and we decided to apply that towards picking up this camera because we want to try something different out here and a different experience. So we're going to send some of the first batch of photos to them as a thank you, and we're also going to be sharing some of these photos, the prints, with patrons. So if you want to check that out, learn more about that, you can do that at patreon.com/RobertWitham. But we'll be sharing some with patrons as a way of saying thanks to them for their support as well. And after all, that kind of thing helps fund stuff like film. So, all right, we're going to talk more about the details of this camera later on in the video at the end, so stay tuned if you want the details. But for now, we're just going to go get some pictures.
Don't video me.
All right, so Melanie used to be into photography. She tells me she's kind of getting back into it now because I'm a bad influence. And this is the first composition she's picked out that she likes this morning. So I'm going to let her take the first photo. She doesn't know that, or she did not know that. She knows it now. So Melanie's up first. We've already shared fond memories of our time with Polaroids when we were youngins back in the dark ages. So this is it anyway. Let's see what we can get here.
So you're supposed to look through and line it up, huh? Keep your fingers off there.
It's definitely not a wide angle lens, so you have to kind of get back a little bit to get a
This is a
subject. But I was just playing around looking through the viewfinder.
obviously a right-handed. I don't know. I like these guys, but it's a little bit busy, so I was trying to get a better angle. I'm gonna hunch next to this cacti and try to see what I can get.
And here it comes. These Instax mini prints take about a minute and a half or so to develop, and then we should have a picture. We'll see how it went. This is now on one hand, you know, some of us are used to digital and you get it instantly, but in terms of a print that fast, that's pretty cool.
Don't put in mouth. Okay, well that's good.
Helpful hints here. Don't put it in your mouth.
Don't. Yeah. This is not food. It's starting to come. Starting to look at the edges a little bit. I don't know. They look like they're doing something. Oh, it's the other side.
The wrong side.
That's the side.
It's starting. It's like magic. Look at this, huh? This brings back memories of the old days, the old Polaroid days. Now, I gotta tell you, I was a little bit behind the times, I guess. I did not know that the Fujifilm Instax was becoming a big thing, but apparently it's been around for a little while now. And, yeah. I was just a little slow learning about it. And unlike some other brands, the Fujifilm you do not have to keep dark, and they also develop really fast. Now, when I was thinking about this, there is another technology known as Zinc or Z-Ink, and it's actually paper, so it's a pretty funky photo print thing that we may play with at some point, but it's not quite film like Polaroid and Instax. So there was something appealing to me about the film part. So.
Well, that one you were saying you could take your digital and send it to that printer.
Yes.
With the
Yeah.
same,
So we can
and
actually
then
use that to print photos
print
from the
and zinc.
smartphone, which is kind of cool too. So.
Might be interesting.
All right, let's wander around a little more, finding our composition, I guess, and we'll let this finish developing and see how it turns out. But it's definitely an image. That's pretty cool. Take it back a little ways here to accommodate for the wide angle. This is actually a composition that Melanie found the other day while we were recording a video out here, which she was shooting with a $5 vintage thrift store camera. She found this composition and did a photo of it. I'm trying it from a slightly different angle because there's some cool clouds on the mountains over there. So I'm going to see if I can get that framed up. But I do like this scene. It's a little island almost of vegetation here, and the dead remnants of a ironwood tree in the foreground there. So let's see here. Here goes nothing. First I have to turn it on. Then I have to wait for the flash to charge up, because I think the flash always goes off in this camera, or very nearly always, whether you need it or not, whether you want it or not. You can get a more feature-rich camera, but I wanted to go very simple on purpose, very few features, so that it was strictly point and shoot. The thing spits out. So to try this out, I thought that would be most authentic, like the old days. So we'll try this again now. And here it comes. See how long it takes to start turning colors here, giving us some an image. Hopefully it looks at least half as good as I was picturing it. I've played with Polaroids many years ago. I've played with some film in the past, but since I got serious about photography, I've only shot digital. So this is definitely a curve for me, an adjustment. So looking forward to the process, though. Having some fun with it. Well, it's there. It's faint still, but it looks like I got it roughly composed the way I was picturing it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to get there. The combination of the Palo Verde and the Saguaro under the Palo Verde and the dead ironwood tree remnants out here, and hopefully the mountains show up in the distance. I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I'm wondering if you need, it's an overcast day. I'm wondering if a brighter day does better with this film.
$1 million question. Yeah, we're learning with you all. Follow along. We'll experiment. I did pick an overcast day, thinking that it would give us some diffused light and interesting cloud perspectives. It could be that it'll do better on truly sunshine, so we'll see how that goes. Also, I have some black and white film that I'm definitely looking forward to trying out, because I've become a big fan of black and whites of desert subjects. But this first one is color. We do have color too, so we're trying with color as well. So it's coming out. I'm not seeing much on the sky yet, but we'll see. We'll give it a few minutes, and I'll put this in a careful pocket, and we'll see how it develops over the next. It should be pretty well developed time-wise, but we'll give it a few more minutes, see how it does. And Melanie was just commenting, how are we going to carry these things around? And I think it might be a good idea for us to get a folio or something to carry them when we're out in the desert. But for now, we're sticking in our soft shirt pockets. All right, let's go see what else we can find, guys. So we're walking across the desert looking for something else to photograph, and I just stumbled across this really cool rock. I thought it looked like a vertebrae or something, but pretty neat. there's something interesting in there. Something is like stuck in there. And I don't know if it's like a fossil or if it's a piece of plant matter somehow got wedged in there. I don't know how it would have got wedged in like that. But cool rock anyway. So we're having fun with this. Like I said, I've been doing digital since I got into photography seriously and professionally. So a little bit fun to go back to some older technologies. We also have a project we're working on to get a vintage film camera out and hopefully shooting. It seems like everything works. We've never shot film through it, so we're going to find out, and you all get to find out with us. I have film on order, but with the weather and being 2022 and everything else, shipping takes forever. So I'm waiting on it. It should be in around the first week of January, before my birthday. So for my birthday, I guess we're going out. Hopefully going to be taking out a vintage film camera for a photo shoot here in the desert. So looking forward to that. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that, hopefully, when it comes out soon. And if you want to see more of our photography, and along with behind the scenes and extra stuff that doesn't make it to YouTube, early releases of videos, and so on and so forth, you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/RobertWitham. You can join for as little as $1 a month, a little more if you want. You get some additional benefits, but we share a lot of extra stuff there, so you might enjoy that if you like content like this. But onward and forward, we're going to go see if we can find something else to photograph with this little Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. That's a mouthful. All right, so we just stumbled across this interesting cholla. Well, really, we saw it from a bit of a distance, and it stood out. So I wanted to come check it out, see about getting a photo. When we got here, I see it's got a whole bunch of dropped, I don't know what you call these things, but it drops these spiny parts of the plant, and they blow around in the wind, and of course the plant repopulates that way. It's always tricky. There's like even one over here, so it's a little tricky daring to kneel down around a cholla in the desert because these spines end up everywhere, and they're very, very sharp, and they're very painful. So I'm going to try and get it from a little bit of a safe distance, squat down a little bit without getting on the ground, lest you get to see me cry because I get stuck by cactus. Turn the hat around here because the brim gets in the way. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, here we go. Normally with a photo like this, I would get down low and try and include the mountains and the sky in the background, but I'm wondering about the exposure on this, with it being cloudy and everything, if it's having a hard time with exposure. So I'm just wanting to try it without the sky in the background. We'll see how that looks, even though it's not the way I would normally photograph that. But it's sitting there. We'll give it a minute. Meanwhile, I'll take a look at this other one I did and see how this is coming along. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Well, we got some sky detail. A little bit dark in the shadows, like where the swirl is. And the sky is kind of blown out. But, hey, it's an instant film picture. So that's in line with what I would have expected. So that's kind of cool. And we'll see how this one comes out in a few minutes. It looks like it's just starting to develop here. Put this first one back in my pocket for safekeeping. Or at least safer keeping when I'm blowing away in the desert wind. So, alright, we're going to stick this in my pocket and see if the darker helps. It's not supposed to matter on these, but I'm going to put it in my pocket so we can find out. And hopefully this one is not quite, ends up not quite so overexposed. But it is instant film, so I mean, you kind of expect that washed out look, I guess. We're going to keep looking around while this develops, and we'll come back and check on that in a couple of minutes. I think we're going to head to that wash over there towards those mountains that are shrouded in clouds. Kind of reminds me of that old Louis L'Amour novel about the far blue mountains. That one's for you, Dad. So we just stumbled across this really cool, giant, dead ironwood tree in this wash, and I said to Melanie, wow, this looks sort of like the one we did a video about the other day. It is the one we did a video about the other day, but I approached it from the opposite direction, so I didn't recognize it at first. I'm not, you'll probably already, that video is probably already up, so I'll link to it if so. But this thing is massive, really cool tree. So I'm going to see if I can get a picture of it. I don't know if it's going to fit in the frame or if it'll be too busy, but we're going to give it a try, see what I can do. There's another dead tree on the bank behind it. I'm trying to not get that behind this tree for distraction reasons, so I'm trying to move around a little bit, see if I can get a right perspective, because I think this is going to do better with simple, solitary, or isolated type subjects rather than busy stuff. We're going to see. I could be totally wrong about that, but well, I think when I was going to the wash, I tried looking south. Maybe I can get it, or looking down the wash, see if I can get this other tree in the background, not complicating things, confusing things. Yeah, this is looking better, I think. On this little pedestal. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting there. Hopefully I don't make my photographer fall down. My videographer fall down. All right, I think we might be getting on something now. Let's try this and see how it goes. All right, here goes nothing. And while we're waiting for this one, we'll check the last one of the cholla cactus, see how that's looking. Okay, I did still get some of the sky in there, even though I was not trying to. But you can see the cholla and all the drops around it. So I'll go ahead and take this one and put it in my pocket too, for give it a chance to develop in the dark, I guess. See if that helps at all. I don't know. All right, we'll give that a couple minutes and see if we find anything else interesting.
There's some flowers over here. I also like this tree.
I was noticing that. That's pretty cool looking,
That's
isn't it?
a frame and a half right there. Yeah, that's a lot of sky in that, but
so Melanie found this really interesting tree. It appears to be a dead ironwood that she likes. I'm going to let her take a picture of it, but while she's walking around filming, I'm going to get a picture of her filming. You know, one of those meta things with a, also, you know, instant and an iPhone 13. But her turn's coming right up to get a photo of this tree, because it's pretty cool. And I'll put this back in my pocket for safekeeping too. Actually, hold on. Let me turn this off for a minute. I need a couple more hands. Let me grab that other one for you guys that we just took and see how that's coming out. All right, so here's the last one with that cool big old dead tree in the wash. So we'll put it back in the pocket, and this one's still white. It'll be along in a minute, and we'll give Melanie a crack with the Instax again. This is your turn now, because you found this really cool tree.
oh yeah.
Not a cool one, just down the wash too, but that was still alive. And you can kind of see in the distance there, not too far, that's the tree we were just photographing a minute ago, that big old dead one. So same wash, although we were back up into the desert and back down into the wash again.
So how many inches do I have again? I have like a foot.
If you put the selfie mode on. Otherwise, it's like 19 inches. Yeah, so this camera is not wide angle. It's fairly, I think it's, I forget what the measurement on the lens, a 60 millimeter lens, but it's not really wide angle. But it does, and normally you have, the list here on the front says a focus range of 0.3 meters. Normally you can focus down to about 19 inches, but it does have a selfie mode, which I don't think either of us are very interested in using, but the selfie mode does allow you to get down to like 11.8 inches or something like that, so about a foot. Melanie's something of a macro gal, so she's thinking about kicking on the selfie mode so she can get a little closer for something on this tree. I don't know what.
So the orange light means the flash is powering up, you said.
It might be powered by now. I don't know. But it does have something to do with a flash. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, you just pull that out. There you go. And it says, let me show y'all out here in YouTube land. It says selfie mode and selfie on. Now, when you pull it out a little further, it changes the zoom. She can get a little bit closer. So we'll let Melanie do her thing here.
Okay. I'm trying to figure it out.
And here it comes. We'll see what this one does in just a minute and a half or 2 minutes. I was just telling Melanie there's a really cool ironwood just the other way up the wash past that one she just photographed. And she was busy checking out this one here, which is also pretty cool. And it's got some unique features.
And I like this, of course, these are called ironwood trees, so I thought it looks like, you know, flexing his muscles here, so that one branch. So.
And note the tree well around this too in the wash.
Yeah,
where
look at
it's
this.
just eroded around it, and all this debris has piled up from different floods that pushed stuff down the wash till it caught a snag. All right, let's go check out that other tree, see if it's anything we want to photograph. It's just up the wash here. Here's a stump of some sort sticking out of the ground. Looks like it's probably ironwood from some long ago tree. Lots of brittle bush and other vegetation along the wash here. And this is interesting. We've seen a few of these where an ironwood tree along the wash was obviously cut by a saw at some point. You can see where the tree fell over finally. These are old trees, and this is obviously cut a long time ago. Obviously, you're not allowed to cut trees out here anymore. This looks like it was cut many years ago. All right, so we'll go check out this other nifty tree up here. Another ironwood. This one's not quite as big, but obviously still quite old. Just on the banks of the wash. And then this one over here I thought was pretty neat. And this is the same wash as the last couple of ironwoods we photographed, the dead ones. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad today. We had a bit of trouble the last time we were out here. We got mics on and we're trying to mask them from the wind, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So you have to bear with us if we're getting some wind on here. But look at these cool trees, man. This is just wild. And then this one here, they're all a little different. These things get so gnarly. I just love them. They're so distinctive and so there's such interesting features. There's some brittle bush growing in the shade here, a little bit off the bottom of the wash. All right, I'm gonna pause here because my granddaughter's calling again. Be right back with y'all. Just walking back towards camp and saw this burrow. This is a pretty deep one, and it's obviously still active. Wonder who lives there. I don't see any eyeballs peering out at it.
Yeah.
And there's another one here just a few feet away. Don't see any eyeballs there either. Probably a good thing. All right, what'd you find here?
Smiley face, 2 eyes, little friend.
We were walking back to camp and we noticed this interesting squirrel off here in the distance, right about there. Lots of arms reaching up. Kind of interesting. We're going to check it out. I don't know if that's one we found before and photographed from a different angle, but we're going to go see it. We've arrived at this cool squirrel. I guess we're going to Melanie a turn again on this one. Although I just told her that and she said, what?
Looks like there's trash at the bottom. There's a...
Swallows do not start getting arms like that. They start, I think it's 70 years old, roughly. I'll have to double check that number. And if I'm wrong, I'll put a note here on the screen, but otherwise it is definitely a while. It's decades before they even start getting arms. And to have that many arms, and to be that big around, this thing's been here a while.
Okay, so if you want to get a close-up, this is the interesting part.
What's that?
Well, you see down here.
Oh my, I did not see all that.
Guess what's in the top there? Someone put in the top.
What?
I think that's another crushed up metal canister or something.
It looks that way, doesn't it? What on earth? And there's a metal container full of rusted tin cans. A rusted metal container full of rusted tin cans.
Paint cans and...
What on earth?
Huh.
It's been here a long time, whatever it is, huh?
Yeah. I'm not feeling this tree to take a picture of it, honestly.
All right, she's not feeling it. We'll continue homeward then. I may come back with a drone and try and get a better view of that. All right, so we're heading back a little earlier than we might otherwise because it's damp today, and this ground is brutal to walk on. Every winter when I'm down here, I end up with like various orthopedic type ailments. My feet are feel like they're bruised. The knees, ankles, hips, back, it just is really hard on the ground. The body, walking on this stuff because it's so rough, and now it's damp. So we're heading back a little early because it's kind of an achy day. But I've been having a blast with this Instax Mini 40, Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. Definitely getting some kind of overexposed images. We're talking about that. I think that's partly just par for the course with instant film, as I recall. But we'll look into it a little more, see if there's anything I do to get better exposure out here on these. There's no adjustments on the camera, so there's not much you can do that way. Melanie, what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, we're going to keep going back, and we'll wrap it up when we get back and show you the images we got one more time and how they fully developed and everything. And but we're heading back to camp for now. All right, so we were done, but this is a fallen saguaro, and you can see the ribs. It's obviously been here for very, very many years. But you can see the ribs are all, wispy. And we're going to try a photo. I don't know if this is going to work. The light's kind of flat. There's maybe not as much contrast as might be ideal, but we're going to give it a try because, we're on our way back, and what the heck. Let's see what it looks like. A little bit closer. Hopefully fill up the frame good. All right. We'll see how that looks. Give it a couple minutes to expose, and by the time we get back to camp, it should be nicely exposed. We can show you all what it came out like. Right now it's a snowman in a snowstorm. Ooh, I dropped the camera too.
Oh.
Fortunately it landed bottom up, so I think it'll be okay. Ugh. They do have a nifty wrist strap that I apparently should have been using. See? All right. This creosote bush is just lit up with flowers. And they've been smelling so good the last day or two because we've had a little bit of rain off and on and fairly high humidity, and oh, don't they smell good when it gets like that. The ground out here, like we mentioned, is absolutely brutal to walk on, but there were some really colorful rocks. And of course, we got this little brittle bush over here that's flowering too. This is a really cool ironwood stump that we just came across making our way back to camp. Really neat. Stumbled across this interesting plant that we weren't sure about at first. Apparently it's a Chuckwallas Delight, which is a sweet bush species. And this is a my mind just went blank. What is this thing?
Chuckwallas Delight. Oh, brittle bush?
This is a brittle bush that, now I remember the word. Yeah, Chuckwallas Delight though. These things is really nicely shaped. I mean, that's kind of what caught our eye at first, I guess. It's got flowers on it, but it's like really nicely shaped for a not manicured
I mean, it's almost
plant.
as tall as I am.
And you can see the new flowers as well as old flowers. They're left on the stems. Pretty dense. I'm assuming something lives under here because that would be nice cover. If you're a desert critter, I suppose. You want it to break from the sun and the wind and things. Alright, so we're back in the trailer, sitting down. Melanie just made us both a cup of tea. Thank you, dear. We did pick up some rocks on the way. We've been playing with an app that's supposed to be able to identify rocks. We'll share with you what the app suggests they might be, but if we scan them 2 or 3 times in a row, sometimes we get different results, or in different light we get different results. I'm not sure how trustworthy it is. We're going to try some other, I think there's a few of them. We'll try a different one, see if it seems to be more consistent. But we'll go for what we think we might know. How's that? Sometimes we're fairly confident based on, and the app kind of confirms what we think we knew. But other times it's kind of weird. So I'll show you these rocks we got because they're cool. And people come from all over the world to go to Quartzsite to rock hound. So we'll show you what we found today. It's interesting. Then we'll get to the pictures. It's on the Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. All right, so the rocks. This one is really neat. These striations and everything. This one apparently is sandstone with all those different colors in it. It does appear to be some kind of sedimentary rock. So it might be sandstone. This one is apparently sandstone as well. I like the shape of this one. And again, it does have some nice colors in it, so kind of cool for now. Then we found these 3 here, 2 smaller ones and one larger one that we thought might be sandstone at first. The app is telling us yellow jasper on all of them, and I'm not really up on that rock, but they don't feel quite like sandstone, even though they're a little gritty, and we thought at first they might be. And then we found this larger one that, again, the app is telling us is yellow jasper. This is a very heavy rock. It is not light like sandstone is. Very heavy, very dense. So quite interesting. We're wondering about that. We have this one here is apparently limestone, if you believe the app. We would have thought maybe sandstone, but it's saying limestone, so I don't know. And this one here is very unique. And this one, the app called a zebra, what was it, Melanie?
Zebra marble?
Zebra marble, yes,
sandstone?
it was zebra marble. So I don't know.
Or sandstone.
So there you go. And if any of you guys know anything about any of these rocks and want to weigh in, we'd love the feedback because, yeah, this one we got like 3 different reports on. So I don't know what to think of it. This one I thought looked like an arrowhead. And it doesn't look like it was really machined that much, so it may be coincidental. The shape, it doesn't look like it's been chipped much. But it is, according to the app, it's flint. So that could, that would be the right material, but it does not really look like it's been worked at all. So it may just be I think it's probably just a fragment of rock that's kind of diamond shaped. So that's the stones we found. It was fun. With so many interesting rocks here. I tell my granddaughters all the time, you got to get your mom to bring you down here to the desert, and you'd have a dump truck worth of rocks to go back with, because they all love pretty rocks. So who doesn't love pretty rocks, right? So anyway, this is the Fujifilm Instax Mini 40. Real quick overview of it if you're not familiar with it. It shoots instant film like Polaroids. This one shoots the minis, which are credit card size film strips. Instant film. You can get larger. They have a square one, and they also have a wide that is same height but twice as wide as the minis. Has a couple of slots here to mount the wrist strap on, or a legit neck strap, which might be a good idea if you don't drop it like I did a little while ago. Battery compartment on the side takes 2 AA batteries. And on the back is a film door. It does, the little yellow spot there tells you it does have a film cartridge in it. And then down here we have a film counter window, which is nice because there's 10 in a package, 10 film sheets in a package. There's the viewfinder you can look through. This is just a thumb rest for when you're holding it. This is that little latch here opens the door. And on the top, this is where the film comes out. This is where all the magic kind of occurs, so to speak. These are a couple of sensors for auto exposure and auto exposure, and I don't remember the other one off the top of my head.
Flash, I think.
Flash, maybe the flash, yeah. So those, you got to be careful you don't put your finger over those. And of course, the flash, it pretty much fires all the time. And the front of the viewfinder and the shutter button. There is a little bit of parallax effect because you're not looking through the lens, and the lens and the viewfinder are offset. So by the time you get out a few feet, it's not real significant. But if you're shooting close, you kind of have to aim high right with the little circle in the viewfinder. So that's it. It is a very basic camera. I like the retro look of it, even though it's all plastic. It's fairly chunky, but it's light. But I like the retro look. So that was one of the reasons I went with this model. But also, like I said earlier, I just wanted the very basic model that you just point, take pictures. You can't adjust things. You can't wait to print anything. It's just, you know, I thought that would be greatest for the aesthetic of it, for what we're trying to do here. So let's look at the pictures we got today, and how they came out now that everything's fully developed. We'll go through Melanie's first, and I'll scan these and put them up for you so you get a better view as well. But this is the first one we took today, that Melanie took, and this is just this cactus. They're definitely kind of overexposing, so we're going to play a little bit more with that, see if we can. It might just be the way it is with the Instant. I seem to recall Instant seems to be overexposed a lot. This was the close-up Melanie did of that cool dead ironwood tree, desert ironwood tree. So that's fun. And then this is a stack I did. This was the first image I did a little while ago with the Saguaro and the Palo Verde and the ironwood tree. And I didn't really get anything in terms of mountains or clouds in the background, which was kind of unfortunate, where it's a bit overexposed, because it was a cool sky. But, you know, that didn't quite happen. Here's the Cholla with all the dropped stuff. Again, kind of overexposed, but you can at least see what's going on. And again, not much sky detail. I was trying not to get the sky in this one. The viewfinder, one thing I've noticed with this is the your image you get is actually a little wider than what you're seeing in the viewfinder. Because when I was looking at the viewfinder, I had the sky cut off, so I wasn't thinking I was going to get any sky in this photo. And yet, I have sky, so. Alright, then we have, this is the cool, that big old dead ironwood tree that we had in a video recently. So that one, you know, you can definitely see it and everything. The sky's kind of blown out again. And then this is that cool tree with Melanie peeking through, shooting a video of me taking a picture of her. So that's also the tree that Melanie had the close-up of here. So, and then one more that I took today, and this is just that downed and decaying remains of skeletal remains of a saguaro cactus. It's obviously been there for a long time. So, hope you enjoyed this little adventure, this little outing, our walk, our photo walk, I guess you could call it. Or what were you calling it, Melanie?
Oh, a wander?
Oh, besides Wanders, you got a different name with them in it.
Oh, wander with them.
Wander with them. There you go. So, yeah, we had fun on this photo walk anyways, this Wander with them episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for more. I don't know if we'll bring the Fujifilm next time. We might bring something different. We got the Sony a6000 mirrorless. That's kind of like my main camera. But this was fun. And we are going to be getting, like I said, I'm waiting on film. And we're going to be trying out taking a vintage film camera out and seeing how that goes. I think everything's working on it. We won't know for sure until we try running some film through it. And then, of course, we have to wait when we get it developed. That's a bit of a change from instant. But hope you guys enjoyed this wander. What do you call that?
Wander with them.
Wander with them. Hope you guys enjoyed this Wander with them episode. This photo walk. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. And we'll be back very soon with more entertaining, fun, inspiring, we hope, photo content, outdoor, nature, wilderness content for you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one.